Sure. Well, look, it was an official trip. It doesn't get more official than 12 world leaders at a 5-hour summit in New York City. And my role was according to the event organizers, I went to India as a part of a trip to invite the Prime Minister, who I have a personal relationship with, the Prime Minister of India. And as a part of that partnership, they asked me to introduce him on the world stage. This was an event that was broadcast on NBC, a special 1-hour program, and the 5-hour program was broadcast for 5 hours on MSNBC. So, you know, it was attended by nearly a dozen world leaders, from the head of the World Bank, the United Nations, the Prime Minister of Norway, the Prime Minister of Indonesia. As I mentioned, I introduced the Prime Minister of India. President Obama did a video address to the audience. So that's what my job is to do, is to represent my district not only in Illinois but on the world stage. And that's part of what my team does. I don't accomplish much of anything in my office by myself. And so when we get a win like that, and we have the opportunity to have a unique historic moment with those world leaders, I want my staff to share in that. And so every member of Congress gets the same budget to run their office. That includes staff development, that includes staff salary, that includes your rent, that includes the mail that you send to constituents. And so we stayed within our budget, but this was an opportunity that I wanted my staff to have to be a part of this historic moment. And I stand by it. I think it was an awesome event for anybody that was there or watched it on television. And I think it's a totally legitimate reason for one of my staff members to be there. I'm troubled by the fact that the reporter who covered this story in the newspaper today suggested that they didn't do anything official. I don't know how my attendance at a 5-hour event is official, but their attendance at a 5-hour event is not. Every one of them attended the same event that I was on stage speaking at. And so, you know, I would just say that it was as legitimate gets. In addition to the world leaders, there were scores of members of Congress there. The following day, we then attended a separate speech where about 26 members of Congress were on stage with Narendra Modi at Madison Square Gardens. That was the following day on Sunday. My staff attended that event as well. I think it was about a 2-hour speech that he gave, and an event that went on. So again, I would just say it was an official trip, and that's a part of my doing business.
Is it normal for your whole staff to go with you to those kind of 10?
No, I mean, I don't invite my staff to things that are simply normal. I mean, that are non-event events. In other words, I'm not going to bring my staff to Washington, D.C. if there's nothing going on there. But my staff from Washington, D.C. routinely travels to my district to help serve the district. And in this case, we had played a very instrumental role with the Global Poverty Project. Caterpillar, which is the largest employer in Illinois and happens to be headquartered in my hometown, Caterpillar was the lead sponsor of this event. And my first appearance on stage was actually with the vice president of Caterpillar for the foundation. So there were many ties to why this made sense for me to be there and for my staff to be there, not only from the international coverage that it got, but also the ties to my district in terms of the large employers' presence and sponsorship, as well as my constituents who cared about the issues as well.